Hello, Adam Bazalgette, two-time PGA Teacher of the Year award winner down here in Naples, Florida, back to talk to you today about how to hit out of greenside bunkers. Stay tuned. So we'd all like to know how to hit out of greenside bunkers. I'm going to attempt to show you some things today that'll make this a lot easier for you. And I'm going to tell you a little secret. It's not really a secret, it's just a common piece of information, but very few people seem to know this about greenside bunker play. That is really a magic. It's a breakthrough. I'll talk to you about that later in the video. Now, as we go here, let's assume for our purposes that you have a reasonable motion, and if you had a 9-iron or a pitching wedge off a good lie in the fairway, you'd more often than not make decent contact. So we're not having a swing lesson as such. This is more specific stuff to the bunkers. If you like the video, please subscribe to the channel. We'll get you a lot more free content coming. Let's get started. These shots give people a lot of problems. One of the reasons, as I say, is I don't think people clearly understand what they're doing. I cannot tell you how many times I've said to someone, why do you think we hit the sand behind the ball in a bunker? And they really have they have no clear answer for that. Then they sort of make one up like it gets the ball in the air. Well, of course, if that was true, we just hit every shot fat in real life to get the ball in the air. Obviously, that's not true. You hear a lot of things about, pick the club up, cock your wrists, open the face, aim your body to the left, swing across, on and on they go. And people get all these bits of jargon, all these pieces of information, but they really don't have a concrete and clear understanding of what they're trying to do. And that's when they get in a situation where they're just not sure how to practice and it's hard to make progress. Let's have a close-up look and shed some light on this. So here's the mythical reason why we have to hit the sand first. There's no trick to it, it's just getting the sweet spot of the club against the golf ball. Now listen, this golf ball, under its own weight, as I roll it around, sits down in the sand. So you've got your most lofted club with not only no cushion, negative cushion. There's no way on a consistent basis I can get that ball up on the sweet spot. So I just have to penetrate the sand enough to get the ball hitting the sweet spot of the club. Admittedly, it's going to have some sand between it and the ball, and that requires more swing speed, but it's just about solid contact. There's no magical reason. Now, certainly, if you open the club face a little bit and round the bottom of it, the club tends to skid more. If you close it more, it will dig more. Different situations, different sand textures might require a little of different approach, but that's the basics of it. You've just got to get the sweet spot down below the ball, or the leading edge below the ball, so the sweet spot and the club interact. And even with the sand then, you're using the face of the club and achieving loft. So with that understanding, let's have a look at this secret I talked about. As I say, it's not really a secret, but most people don't seem to know this. It's going to surprise you. Let's have a look in slow motion. I'll show you something.
So there's Luke Donald, short game wizard and certainly bunker player extraordinaire. Now let's watch what Luke does here. Let's see what this little hidden piece of information is. Now as he comes in, let's say the golf ball, we'll say, is right there. And let's look at his motion into the sand. So he's going to hit the sand about in that spot. And if we look at the exit's going to be right around there. So that's his divot. Now, certainly he is hitting the sand before he hits the ball. We've described that a little earlier to you. But the fact is, and this is what people don't realize, the bottom of the swing, which is middle of the divot, that's the true low point the club gets to, is well in front of the ball. Now, why is this so significant? Well, it's significant in its own right, but why does it have such an effect on players? The average player bottoms out way before the average tour player number one. If anything, just in general, they scoop the ball too much. And when they suddenly think, hey, the bottom of the swing's 3 or 4 inches behind the ball, they start getting way back here. So it is true to say we hit the sand behind the ball, but it is absolutely not true to say the bottom of the swing is behind the ball. As you see there, the bottom of the swing is in front of the ball. Most of that divot Luke's taking is past the ball. You can see the shaft lean, and the bottom of the swing is past the ball. Now, as we look at him, you'd certainly say, notwithstanding all that nice lag and shaft lean, he releases the club a little differently and a little more abruptly, if you like, rehinges it than a normal shot. But that doesn't change this important fact of where the bottom of the swing's located.
So now you know the principle of how the sweet spot interacts with the ball when it's down in the sand. You now understand why we have to hit the sand before the ball. but you're also tempering that with the understanding that the bottom of the swing is still in front of the ball. How are you going to develop that? Let me show you a little bit close up and show you how easy this can be for you. So just remember, this is still a stick, has a club head on it, and that's the sand, obvious enough. If you've got some kind of feel, you can hit more into the sand, less into the sand. You can use the front edge of the club more. You could use the back of the club more, depending on the needs of the situation. Now, you might say, well, how do I do that? Listen to me, it's as easy as a table tennis paddle. If you could hit the ball up, or you could hit the ball down, or whatever, just manipulate the paddle, and I know you could, you'd be able to do this. It's just a longer stick at the end of it. I promise you that is so much more valuable to you than some tip from me as to how to move your hand around. You can do it. I have people tell me all the time in lessons, I don't know how to move the club face around. Well, I guess they wouldn't be able to play table tennis then, not at all, because they wouldn't know how to move the paddle. We know that's not true. So give yourself a little credit, play around. It takes time to build skill. Back of the club, front of the club, and fiddle around till you have some skill sets there. So I hope that's helping you with how to hit out of greenside bunkers. It's a two-pronged attack. First, you've got to have the knowledge. You've got to know what you're trying to do. I hope I've helped you with that here today. And secondly, you've got to bring some skill sets to the problem. You've got to have some ability to adapt the club a little bit, obviously based on the template of having a decent swing motion. At scratchgolfacademy.com, we offer full courses in every part of the game. Going to offer a full course on bunker play. Hope you check that out. Hope you subscribe to the channel if you like the video. Appreciate your time.